The Arrow-3 missile defense systems that Germany acquired from Israel have sufficient range to intercept Iskander ballistic missiles over Russian territory, according to Militarny, citing an analysis of the system's capabilities. It is known that the first Arrow-3 battery will receive initial combat capability in December, which became possible after the completion of the deployment of the first element of the system from Schönwald from Germany and the training of personnel who have already undergone training with the participation of Israeli specialists. It is noted that the Arrow-3's mission is to intercept medium and long-range ballistic missiles at exospheric altitudes, essentially outside the atmosphere at an altitude of over 100 kilometers. The United States, as a partner, is participating in Israel's development of the Arrow weapon system and is manufacturing a significant portion of its components. Therefore, exporting the system requires approval not only from the Israeli government but also from the United States. Militarny added, "At the same time, the system's guided anti-aircraft missile can destroy long-range enemy missiles outside the Earth's atmosphere using the hit-to-kill method. The exact technical specifications and even the dimensions of the Arrow-3 missile are still classified. It is known that it is somewhat smaller than the previous version, the Arrow-2, but has a greater range and interception altitude. The Arrow-2 had an interception range of up to 100 kilometers and a maximum interception altitude of 50 kilometers. The article noted. Meanwhile, public reports stated that the interception altitude was over 100 kilometers. Furthermore, various sources often claim the flight range reaches 2,400 kilometers. But this is an error, according to Militarny. In particular, the Israeli manufacturer reported that the anti-aircraft system can intercept ballistic missiles launched from a distance of up to 2,400 kilometers, but does not have such a range itself. Assuming that, like the altitude, the range has also doubled, which is a fairly conservative estimate, then deploying such a system on NATO's eastern flank, along with the German forces already present there, would allow for the interception of Russian ballistic missiles over Russian and Belarusian territory before they enter NATO airspace. If, for example, such a system were deployed near Kiev, it could cover the area from Rivne to Sumy from ballistic missiles, the experts explain. The publication also notes that this system differs significantly from lower-class systems such as the Patriot, which can only intercept ballistic missiles in the terminal phase of their flight within a limited sector. Therefore, as Militarny adds, even a missile shot down in the terminal phase could cause serious collateral damage if it falls in friendly territory. Business Insider previously reported that Ukraine has developed a new way to counter Russian Shahed jets. This involves cheap interceptor drones. Thus, it recently became known that the Ukrainian Sting interceptor drone successfully destroyed several jet-powered attack drones. The statement is another sign that Ukraine is seeking ways to combat the growing threat of jet strikes amid concerns that new Russian drones are too fast to be reliably destroyed by inexpensive means, the publication's journalists noted. Meanwhile, military expert Andrei Ryzhenko ridiculed Russia's failed nuclear missile launch. Specifically, he compared the launch to a morning routine at a kindergarten. "I think it was a test launch. From the very beginning, something unusual began to happen on the rocket. This can be seen during the launch. Within a few seconds of the flight, it began to lose its normal orientation," Ryzhenko explained. Ukrainian Sea Baby naval drones attacked 2 Russian oil tankers in international waters of the Black Sea off the coast of Turkey. Forbes writes that this attack indicates an expansion of Kiev's campaign to use sea drones to target the Kremlin's oil revenues. The strike hit the Kairos and Virat, which are registered in Gambia, but identified by Western authorities as part of Russia's shadow fleet designed to evade sanctions. The strike hit the Kairos and Virat, which are registered in Gambia, but identified by Western authorities as part of Russia's shadow fleet designed to evade sanctions. The United States imposed sanctions against Virat in January 2025, and the European Union, Switzerland, the United Kingdom and Canada followed suit. Kairos was blacklisted by the EU in July 2025 and subsequently by the United Kingdom and Switzerland. According to Bloomberg, Kairos was returning to Novorossiysk after delivering Urals crude to India, while Virat spent most of 2025 idle in the western Black Sea, following U.S. sanctions. Ukraine has previously carried out successful Navy strikes against Russian vessels using explosive-laden naval drones. However, these operations were limited to the northern Black Sea. The strikes off the coast of Turkey represent a significant expansion of the operational range, demonstrating the improved endurance of the drones and Ukraine's readiness to strike Russian targets in international waters. The latest attacks reflect Ukraine's intent to damage not only Russia's navy, but also its global oil supply chains. Kiev is focused on changing the approach of companies attempting to support Russia's oil trade. Ukraine's strategy appears increasingly coordinated. It is damaging both the vessels transporting Russian oil and the infrastructure that supports these exports. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is increasingly trying to push Kiev toward an agreement that, according to many analysts, benefits Moscow. Ukraine, in turn, is seeking to restore balance in the negotiations, which means increasing pressure on the Kremlin. Ukrainian naval drones have demonstrated their ability to strike ships far from the front line. The Shadow Fleet, built to evade sanctions, has proved more vulnerable than expected. As strikes on vessels move further away from Ukrainian shores, the cost calculations for companies and ship owners servicing Russian oil trade are changing. Given Kiev's willingness to directly target the Shadow Fleet, this risk will only increase. Oil and petroleum products remain Russia's single most important source of income. According to the International Energy Agency, Moscow earned $13.1 billion from crude oil and petroleum product sales in October. Still a significant amount, though $2.3 billion less than the same period last year. Russia's oil and gas revenue will fall by about 35% to $6.59 billion in November, part of a broader 22% drop this year as cheaper oil and a stronger ruble squeeze the Kremlin's most important source of income.